guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we're going to review another one of those Mojo figures that I've been trying to review lately, and it's actually two Mojo figures, two smaller ones, and one is this little Velociraptor, and the other one is an infant Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, I definitely, if I had to pick, would pick the T-Rex. I like the T-Rex a lot more than I like the Raptor. The Raptor is not terrible, but he's got a few issues. I mean, he's obviously not a feathered Velociraptor like we now know Velociraptors are, but this guy was probably created before that was really a thing, and more based off of probably the Jurassic Park Velociraptors. Not to mention the fact that he's very small, so you can see here by my hand, he's really small. So he's got a little bit of a sloppiness to the mouth in the paint, but overall I feel like the color scheme is pretty nice. He's got some nice detail. The sculpt maybe isn't the most accurate in the world, as he's obviously dragging his tail and looks, honestly, in my opinion, a lot like the Carnosaur Velociraptor. If you had ever seen those movies, he looks very similar to like the Velociraptors from Carnosaur 2, Carnosaur 3, which is cool because I absolutely love those movies, even though they're cheesy. Beyond cheesy. And yeah, it's a cool little touch, cool little figure. But the baby T-Rex I feel like is absolutely awesome, and he's a cool addition to put with the larger T-Rex that I had reviewed a while back on the channel by Mojo Fun. So let's take a closer look at these guys. We'll start with the little Velociraptor. You can see that the head sculpt is pretty nice. He's got some nice detail. He looks very good. The eye is a yellowish color with a black pupil, so that looks pretty good as well. Again, I said the sculpt looks very reminiscent of the Velociraptor from the Carnosaur movies, and that's just my personal opinion. I think that that is definitely true, though. You can see the mouth, as I said, is just kind of just all white. You can't really see. It's kind of sloppily painted, and you can't really make out the teeth too well. But if you actually really get in there, you can't really pick it up too well on camera, but you can see that the teeth are sculpted out, but because the white paint is just put on so thick, you can't really see them. You can see some beautiful detail all over the place, sculpted very nicely down the neck here, and then the arms are sculpted beautifully as well. Up in a very, in my opinion, bird-like position. Looks very cool. Beautiful sculpt work all over the place. On the side, the legs are kind of scrawny, especially up here in the thigh area. I feel like they're very scrawny, and there's not too much in the way of muscle tone anywhere really on the legs. They're pretty skinny overall. The feet, the toes are sculpted together, and you can see they're just a black color on the claws, but they're glossed, so they definitely have a nice striking appearance. And the tail is just down there. It's kind of dragging on the ground, so he's in a tripod position, and it's very skinny as well, but it's got some nice sculpt work. It has a very nice paint scheme, in my opinion, with this black streak that runs down the back of the body, and then a brown color is the primary color with some little different shades here and there to give it a nice look. And then the underside is a much lighter color, so the paintwork is really nice on him. I just feel like the sculpt itself maybe isn't the best in the world, but it doesn't look terrible. It's a cool little Velociraptor figure if you're looking for a nice small one, especially if you're a fan of the old Carnosaur movies. He's a winner in my opinion, but maybe not the best Velociraptor that I've ever seen. And then taking a look at the baby T-Rex, you can see that this guy is beautiful in my opinion. He's got this very nice yellow eye with a black pupil, beautifully glossed on the eye. The sculpt work on the head is pretty nicely done as well. You can see the palate is sculpted well. The nostrils are sculpted out nicely. The teeth are painted much better on this guy than on the Velociraptor. You can see that the teeth are sculpted out. You can see they're painted very nicely, so you can really elaborate the teeth. More so than it being just a big white mess in there like the little Velociraptor. I don't know if all of the Raptor toys that they have of that one are all like that in the mouth, or if that's just mine. I'm not sure. But this guy's teeth are definitely much better. You can see that there are nice scales sculpted all over the place. The detail around the eye looks very good as well. Top of the head sculpted nicely also. His little tiny Tyrannosaur arms are sculpted beautifully as well. It kind of has them out in like a stance like I'm ready to fight, don't mess with me type of a look. You can see the nice little detail here on the side of the stomach region, some skin folds, some very nice scale work. You can actually see the rib cage a little bit there. Some beautiful muscle tone on the leg here, which the Velociraptor didn't have, but the little T-Rex does. Nice kneecap, nice calf muscles there as well. The feet are sculpted very nicely also. The claws aren't really a different color. They kind of have a little bit of a shade of black to them on the edges, but overall it's kind of the same coloration as the rest of the body, which is definitely something that some animals do have, so that's not that bad. It looks okay. Actually, maybe it's a little bit of a lighter color. It's really hard to tell. But either way, it looks good. And then the tail on the Tyrannosaur is nice and sculpted beautifully. Nice and a little bit of a longer tail here. The underside also looks very nice. You can see it's painted beautifully. A little bit of a lighter gray here. And the overall appearance is just a brownish color with a darker brown that kind of runs the back and the top of the head there. And then he's got some brown stripes here kind of on the side of his body to just give it a little bit of different tones. And then on the underside of the tail also some darker browns. So he's painted very, very nicely, and he looks very, very good in my opinion. He matches up well with his father figure, that other Tyrannosaurus figure that I had reviewed previously on the channel. So definitely a very nice young T-Rex. So overall, I definitely prefer the Tyrannosaur over the Velociraptor. But as far as little figures go, they're both very cool. And if you wanted just two smaller dinosaur figures with some nice detail put into them, both, in my opinion, are winners in that department. They are very nicely sculpted. They look beautiful as far as their paint goes. The only complaint that I really have about the Velociraptor is that his mouth is really sloppily painted, and it kind of lacks any type of musculature at all. But overall, his detail is nicely done, and the simple fact that he looks like the Carnosaur Velociraptor kind of makes me like him quite a bit just because of that. But the baby Tyrannosaur, in my opinion, just looks good in general. Overall, he's very nice. He's got beautifully sculpted detail, beautifully painted eye. He just looks very, very good. And he's kind of up in that pose like, help me, Mom, help me, Dad, feed me something. So he's got a cute little pose to him, and he just looks nice in general. As far as the size of these guys goes, the T-Rex is about 5 inches long. Height-wise is a little over 3 inches. And the Velociraptor, about 4 inches long. And height-wise is a little over 3 inches. So they're very, very small figures, but they look very nice. Again, the T-Rex I definitely prefer over the Velociraptor, but I could recommend both, especially if you're a fan of the Carnosaur movie, and I am, so he kind of tugs at the heartstrings, this little Velociraptor. Hang on the tail here, there you go. It actually hangs on pretty good. You can see the size comparison between the Papo T-Rex and these guys is quite nice, and even actually with the Papo Rex, this baby T-Rex, he really looked quite good, kind of fits in. He definitely could be a very nice child to that Papo Rex, especially considering the actual Papo Juvenile Tyrannosaurs are now retired for some reason. Both, I believe, are. So if you have a hard time getting a hold of them, this little Mojo Fun Tyrannosaur is definitely a great replacement to be the child of him. And if you want a little Velociraptor that's almost Jurassic Park scale to attack Mr. Papo Rex, this guy might be your guy. So either way, definitely some nice figures here. These are probably, well, this guy's probably one of my least favorite that I've gotten from them, but he's definitely not bad. This guy is definitely, in my opinion, very nice. I really do like him quite a bit. But either way, I will link you guys in the description, and you can buy one if you want either one of these guys. You can decide for yourself if they're for you or they're not. If you're looking for a nice smaller dinosaur figure, both, in my opinion, are a good way to go. Either way, like I said, link in the description, and Mojo Fun, awesome as always. So like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.